Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those of you uninitiated, hi, my name is Jane. I like to draw. Now, on occasion, you get hit with one of those ideas that make you want to drop everything you're doing and go tackle it. Like one of those ideas you imagine Michelangelo had when he first envisioned David's weenie, or when he thought, hey, that ceiling could use a little something. This was one of those ideas for me, and I wanted to walk you guys through the process of making it. So welcome to Princess Luna as Van Gogh's Starry Night. But first, a few quick things. Big store update. The Nightmare Ponies finally came in, and they are gorgeous. The Rainbow Slash pin and the Pinkiachi pin glow in the dark. So if you missed out on pre-orders, now's your chance. But I do have limited stock, so you might want to hop on that. Also added to the store lineup are the holographic Rainbow Slash and Pinkiachi posters. Check these babies out. Ooh, so sparkly, so glittery. Eye candy. The Doom and Gloom collection from last spring's Kickstarter is also finally available. And then just a bunch of new sticker designs, so go check that out. It'll be linked below. And speaking of stickers, this year I'm running a sticker club where once a month I send out a new sticker design. So, for $8 a month, I send a cute little envelope to your address, packaged with love. And lastly, if you like my art, if you like my channel, join my Patreon. My milkshake tier patrons not only get a sticker like the sticker club, but also get access to all the projects I'm cooking up behind the scenes. I've got pots on the stove including a plush and a bag that I'm designing, so if you want to join me in that journey, then join Milkshake. I'd love to have you. All that will be linked below. Now, if you sat through all that instead of skipping ahead, you're my favorite. Good for you. Now, on to the video. There is no way that you are unfamiliar with Starry Night. It's arguably one of the most famous pieces of all time, and its presence has haunted quirky gift stores for time immemorial. I know you've at least seen like a mug with Starry Night on it, or perhaps a print hanging in some woman's bathroom right next to the framed Live, Laugh, Love. That's how ubiquitous it is. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, just as inescapable. Oh sure, it might be a few hundred years younger than Starry Night, but there's no doubt that it's made its mark on pop culture. I was blessed with being in the target demographic when it aired, so not only did this show have a big impact on me artistically, developmentally, but now I get to continue drawing it and talking about it and still be perceived as a somewhat well-adjusted adult. That being said, if you just clicked on this video because you like horse, check out the rest of my channel. I have drawn a lot of horse. So I've had the idea to merge the two for a couple of months now, but I was finally able to sit down and execute it as soon as I decided I wanted it to be a foil print, which means when this like exists in the real world, it will have golden highlights. So the gold parts in her mane and her eyes will be like actually shiny and will be like actually golden. So that's pretty fun and cool. Definitely stick around for when those go up on my store. So once I had the motivation, I just sat down and busted this out in like one sitting. So sometimes all you need is the proper motivator and ba-bam. And you get into a flow state, you like put on some nice music, and then suddenly you're finished and you're like, wow, that was way easier than I thought it would be. So let that be a lesson in dealing with art block. Sometimes you'll have an idea, you can just write it down. You don't have to sit down and execute it that moment. You can always find time for that later. So fun. Starry Night was painted by Vincent van Gogh during his stay in an insane asylum, which is where we used to put our artists before the invention of the internet. The piece was a view of the night sky from between the jail cell bars of his window, which adds a very specific sort of melancholy to this piece that, and this is where we get cringe, mirrors Luna's themes and arcs as a character. Luna experienced isolation and imprisonment during her 1,000 years banished to the moon, and I thought that was another interesting parallel. Although I won't lie, it's not lost on me how weird it is to compare a once real living person suffering to a cartoon horse's, but I'd like to imagine Vincent would have found the humor in that. So, Van Gogh Ghost, please forgive me. I had a very clear vision for how I wanted to go about this. I knew that I wanted Luna's mane to take up most of the piece, so I toyed a little bit with the composition, but I didn't stray far from what I originally imagined. I wanted it to capture the same sort of calm, flowy nature of Starry Night, and also show Luna in a stately, regal pose. I did something a little different from most of my other pieces with this one. Since it's painterly, I opted to actually paint the mane by hand, and this forced me to slow down and appreciate Starry Night as a piece. Fun game, take a shot every time I say piece in this video. Actually, don't do that, please don't die. One of the fun things about trying to replicate a certain style is that it forces you to like slow down and notice things that you wouldn't have noticed before. So I highly encourage my little artists listening to do that with some of your favorite pieces. Just FYI, very fun. So what really ended up sinking in for me while doing this was that it's the stroke technique that Van Gogh used that makes the piece feel like it's moving. And I know that's kind of like a well duh moment, but I don't know, once you're actually sitting down and doing it, you can like feel it. It's different, you know? The variation of width in the strokes, like the different size of paintbrush used, like the way that the strokes get smaller as they get closer to the stars. It's very beautiful and well thought out, and I know this is like nothing new. I'm certain Starry Night has been picked apart into pieces by a million different people, but this is just what stood out to me and what I appreciated about it. And the thing that I like about Van Gogh's style is that he leaned into impressionism, which means that he opted for conveying feeling over realism. It was painted at a time where previously the trend in the art world was to try and capture the beauty of reality before photos existed, but Van Gogh focused more on conveying the sense of the scene, like starting to abstract it. Another thing that stuck out to me was that the two main colors used in Starry Night, deep blue and bright yellow, work very well together. They work so well together because they have contrast not only in hue, but also in values, which, by the way, because I don't expect you to know or care what this means, and art terms are for nerds, value is the brightness and or darkness of a color when turned to black and white. So, there's your little knowledge tidbit for the day. Write that down. There is also contrast in the fact that blue is a cool color while yellow is warm. So it overall just contributes to this really calm, cozy atmosphere. Overall, I really just love the colors together, but thank you for listening to this tangent on why. I worry that I'm going to sound pretentious while talking about all this, but at the same time, I know that there's going to be someone watching this video who's taken an art class or knows more about art theory than I do, and it's going to be like, what is this? Baby's first color theory? To which I start clapping my feet together and start blowing spit bubbles. Anyways, while painting the mane, I listened to Starry Night by Don McLean. That song makes me very emotional. It also just sounds like the piece, which I think is amazing. It just captures the mood very well. So if you haven't heard that song before, go listen. It's so good, but bring tissue. If I were to change anything about how I executed this, I would probably just go ahead and do it in RGB. Even though I know I wanted to make it into a print, I think that it would look even better in RGB color format, because CMYK just kind of washes everything out, and I know that kind of has to, because, you know, RGB colors don't exist in real life. It's a trick of the eye. But damn, it just looks so good. And for those of you in the class taking notes, RGB is the color format that most digital pieces look best in, and CMYK is typically reserved for things that are going to be printed. So CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and crab. And it's the colors that come out of a printer. So that's what that stands for. The more you know. And then RGB stands for red, green, blue, maybe, I think. Look that up, don't trust me. And then I'd probably just slow down and play with her facial proportions more, because I'm not super satisfied with it. Because I feel like she's a little bug-eyed in the finished result, but you know, what can you do? Overall, I'm happy with it. I like how the mane turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always open to creative criticism, constructive creative criticism, the 3 C's. I don't know. I just made that up right now. And then while you're down in the comments, I see you typing. I see you. Please let me know if I were to make a Celestia piece to go with this, what painting I should base it on, because this is something I've been stuck on for a while. Like, part of me is like, I'd do the sunflowers, but then I think about the colors in sunflowers and I'm like, will that really go with Celestia? I don't know. I might just keep with like the art pieces theme and not specifically Van Gogh, but damn, sunflowers and Starry Night would be so pretty next to each other. Whatever, let me know in the comments. A fat, juicy, voluptuous thank you to my milkshake tier patrons, Orbital Bacon and Ivy. Thank you, you guys, you're the real ones. A thank you to my lunch money patrons, Lady Letitia, Cloud Fluffy, and Nightbringer Art. And a smaller but nonetheless thankful thank you to my soup can patrons, Joe and Gossamer. You guys rock. Thank you. If you would like your name read out at the end of one of these videos, or would just like to support my channel in general, please check out my Patreon. It'll be linked below. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.